Hey, how's it going? Scott Labrie here with the Esteemed Gentleman Podcast, Episode 3. As always, I'm joined by Tyler Sunt and Eric Deshane.
Hello there.
Hello, everybody.
So, boys, before we get into our week, I want to ask you a question. What kind of shampoo do you guys use?
Head and Shoulders.
I use this stuff that my girlfriend bought for me. It's got tea tree oil in it to battle my overstimulated dandruff. And it burns like menthol on my scalp.
Jesus.
And I'm an idiot. And I use it on my body like I used to with my Axe body
Really?
wash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm retarded though. So.
No, I always have the dry scalp, so I get the Head and Shoulders, like the moisturizing one. That's the money.
Yeah, I used to be a Head and Shoulders guy, but ever since I kind of been thinning in the hair, went with a L'Oreal men's thickening shampoo.
Real posh.
Hey, I gotta do as much as I can to combat this thing, this evil disease called baldness that I've been strucken by. So today we're going to be talking about our early childhood gaming memories, how we got into video gaming. But first, we're going to talk about our weeks, what we've been playing, what we've been watching. So we'll get to Eric first. Eric, what you been doing this past week here?
Past week wasn't much. Hockey came back on, so watched my others play a bit there and enjoy.
How are they doing?
No, not the greatest. They tend to lose the first game of the series and win the next one. So right now they're playing the Canadians. They lost to them 5-1, and I'm kind of watching the game as I waiting along.
And they're doing doing the whole Canadian division, right, or something?
Yeah, so far it's not what you hope to see, but it's so far so good.
There you go.
Like they weren't performing like I would hope they perform. Right now they're still losing 2-0 at the end of the second, so it's not looking too good right now. Hopefully they can get their asses in gear and get better here. So, but otherwise that's been it. So
there you go. Just the hockey. That's about it, eh? What about you, Tyler? Or sorry, what were you saying, Eric?
Oh, hockey, and I caught up on some Netflix shows again. I watched like the what was it called, The Last Dance, for like the 5th time again, just because it's always good to watch that.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
I still have to watch that.
Yeah, I could watch it again. And actually, like I was seeing commercials for I was watching basketball, and they have on Crave right now. HBO made it. It's a Tiger Woods documentary, so I'm thinking I should check that out too, or something.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Right, yeah.
See, I've heard about that one. Guy I work with, he said that it seems like it's kind of like a stab at Tiger Woods.
Oh, really?
Like, that's what it is.
Oh, really?
It's just like it's very
In the commercial, they did focus a lot on like his mugshot for drunk driving and like his wife and stuff like that. It's like, come on, he's like also the best golf player of all time.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's probably for the drama.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
knows? Yeah, poor bastard.
But no games or anything, Eric, at all this week?
No, not a heck of a lot. I re-downloaded like some of my old games to play again. I re-downloaded like some old classics I had on Steam for the longest time, and I'll play this till. I was waiting for what came out this last week here, Battlefront 2.
Oh yes, yeah.
Free, and then I moved waiting to download that one, so I'm playing some other games in the meantime. So hope I can play that here soon.
Yeah, that's a fun game, especially if you pick it up for free. Why not, right?
Carly and I jumped on that, and we just went hard on it all weekend. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I would like to play it with you guys because when I was playing it was just by myself, and I was like, it's all right to shoot some people, but it'd be a lot more fun to play with other people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And what about you, Tyler? What was your week like?
The week was, I don't know. I was tired all week for some reason. Just come home and sit on the couch, watch Coco Melon with Leia.
Uncle Tired.
Uncle Tired. That's what my nephews and nieces call me. Their parents, loser parents, theirs. You guys are listening. I'm just bugging. I'm tired. Just joking. We watched. We started watching. Actually, we burned through it pretty quick. Was Space Force. I don't know why that show got so much hate. If you want to just sit down and just put your brain on the counter, go sit on the couch and watch a good show, I think it's amazing. I think the reason why this show got crapped on so much is because they expect it to be like The Office, and it's nothing like The Office. He's not Michael Scott. He's not acting obnoxious and whatever. He's just like this guy that gets put in this job, and he's just trying to make the best out of it, as big of a joke as it is to him, right? But I think it's really good. I've enjoyed it.
And I thought The Office. I thought it was getting bad reviews because it was like The Office. That's why.
Oh no, it's nothing like it. It's filmed really nicely, and it's I don't know. And John Malkovich steals the show. Dr. Mallory, oh my god, he is so funny. Yeah, we kind of been watching that. We've been enjoying that quite a bit.
Very cool. Playing any games or anything like that?
Well, besides Battlefront 2, Carly's. I've been watching Carly. Well, a little bit. I watched her play Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh yes, that's a good game.
Yeah, she's pretty obsessed with that one. And then I played a little bit of Fallout, but she seems more into the Dragon Age thing. She's really trying to get me to play it, but I don't know. It's too RPG, World of Warcraft style. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're also the guy who's like super into what is it?
The story based and
Warhammer. You're also like telling us all to get into that, but you're like, no, this is too Lord of the Ringsy for me.
It doesn't matter what you guys want. What I want is the only important thing. So. Enough of that. No, I was kidding. I don't know. I did give it a shot, but I went like an hour and I'm like, nah. So now I know how it feels when I tell people to play something and they're just not enjoying themselves.
It's also the third game too, so I mean you're missing some context, I guess. It does pretty good at like starting over and telling you the lore, but like I really like those games, like both because that's made by BioWare, who also did Mass Effect series, and yeah, the Dragon Age and Mass Effect series are like two of my favorite series of all time.
Gotcha.
And like, yeah, just I don't know. I'd say play the first one, even though it came out like 2008 or something like that. It's like it probably doesn't age super well graphically. The story's really great, but yeah,
right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe we'll see. What you have to do though is when it comes out is the Mass Effect trilogy remastered when that comes out next year. That's what you got to play.
Yes, I remember when Mass Effect 2, I think, was free on Origin.
Yeah,
a while ago you got me to play that. I started playing it. I'm like, man, this is really good, but I don't know who's who or what's happening here. I'd really like to start from the beginning and know what's going on.
That's a great one to play.
It seemed really good because well, I don't know how old that game is, but I thought the story was really great and how the different choices you make actually make a difference. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I kept my character from the first Mass Effect all the way to Mass Effect 3. Carried him over all the way through, and that's really one of the better games too.
Yeah,
the story in that one, and
I hope they really revamp the first one, because like Mass Effect 2 and 3 they still hold up like gameplay wise, but man, the first one is like it's a little rough around the edges.
Know where to go for a lot of stuff.
They had like weird dice rolls when you're like shooting. It's like you just randomly miss for some reason, even though you're like perfectly aimed at somebody. It's like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be in a shooter. So
Mako, when exploring dead planets, you just bounce around like a freaking balloon.
And most of the time they're like empty for like except for the 5 things that they're there to be found.
Yeah. One building in the middle of a desert all of a sudden. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
I had kind of the opposite week where I didn't play any video games at all, but I did watch a couple things. And that's kind of like I've been enjoying about doing the podcast. It's like it's actively making me try and make sure I have something new to talk about each week. So I'm like, all right, I gotta watch something. So I watched the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, which you guys, shame on you for not watching it, because I was like, we're gonna talk about it, and then you're like, we didn't watch it. It's like, god damn, it's only like the most anticipated thing to come out this month, but all right.
Yeah.
But I'll just say like some non-spoiler opinions on that. They put out the first 2 episodes and they're like only half an hour each, and like they are straight up just like old sitcoms. Like the first one is very much I Love Lucy, and the second episode is more Bewitched. So I think like every episode they're kind of going up a decade in television, I think is what it's kind of they're doing.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's actually surprisingly funny. It's like, all right, is this gonna be corny, like half an hour of like I Love Lucy? But it's like, nah, actually they're pretty funny, and like all of a sudden there'll just be like something that just kind of breaks the fourth wall kind of sort of thing, and you're just like, all right, this isn't right here. Like, what's actually going on? Because you know, like something's wrong, but it's always like this sitcom. It's like, all right, and then all of a sudden it's like something happens, and you're just like, okay, this is really weird. What's going on?
Right.
So I'd say check it out. I mean, I'm gonna be watching that every week for sure, just because it gives you something to watch every week. Now that the
Yeah.
Mandalorian's not around, right? So
Are they doing 2 episodes a week or 1 episode?
I think it's just gonna be 1 episode a week from now on.
So they kind of did like what The Boys season 2 did. They had 2 episodes at the start and then 1 after that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was kind of a good idea too, because the first episode is like not a ton happens in it, but by the end of the second episode, it's like, okay, we're moving here. There's some progress. They're definitely like, it's definitely a slow burn show. I'm thinking so.
Oh, interesting.
But there are some little Easter eggs. I wish you guys would have saw it so I could talk about them with you, but maybe next week we'll talk about it. And then yeah, the other show I watched this week was I watched all 3 seasons of Cobra Kai.
Ooh,
God, how many episodes is that?
So it's 10 episodes per season, and they're 30 to 35 minutes per episode.
it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not terribly long. That show's awesome. It's I mean, if you're a fan of the Karate Kid movie, like you're just gonna like this show. It's like a mix. I was kind of talking to my sisters, trying to get them to watch it, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be tough pitch to them, but I was like, it's like a mix between Karate Kid and Degrassi, kind of.
Oh my God.
There's all because like the story of it is, you know, it's Johnny Lawrence, the bad guy from the first movie. He's kind of a deadbeat. Like ever since the tournament he lost, essentially he's like just like a deadbeat guy. Doesn't have a steady job at all. Lives in a crappy apartment, and then a poor family kind of moves in next door with a teenage son named Miguel, and he's a loser nerd guy who gets beaten up by a bunch of bullies, and then much like Mr. Miyagi saved Daniel LaRusso or whatever, Johnny like saves Miguel from getting beaten up, except for Johnny gets arrested and goes to jail for beating up minors. And then like he comes back, and then Miguel's like, oh, come on, man, you gotta train me to do kung fu. It's like, it's karate. And then he ends up opening up Cobra Kai again in this like crappy strip mall where he like barely able to pay any of the rent or anything like that. And he's just like the most non-PC guy. Like he's like still living in the 80s. He's just like, he's calling Miguel a pussy and a loser all the time.
Right.
And yeah, it's actually like a really interesting show because it also has Daniel LaRusso, the good guy. He's kind of, I'm not gonna say he's the bad guy of the show, but he has the exact opposite life where he owns his own car dealership in Beverly Hills, and his kids are rich and that sort of thing. And he's like, there's a commercial where he's chopping prices and kicking the competition. He's just like talking about like karate and stuff, and Johnny just like has this vendetta against him still. So it's just kind of, the show is about how that grudge has lasted for 30 years and how it's impacting like this new generation of teenagers and stuff. And now especially that Cobra Kai comes back, Daniel's like, no, Cobra Kai's a bunch of assholes and bullies, even though in the show Cobra Kai's like actually recruiting like a bunch of losers because they're the only people who are like interested in doing karate these days.
Right.
So yeah, I'd recommend it for sure. It's that really funny, that especially that first season's really funny. And then the second season's kind of like a Empire Strikes Back kind of thing. It kind of goes into like some darker stuff, and the main characters aren't kind of on their feet for a lot of it. But yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, seeing as I watched 3 seasons of it in 1 week. So
nice. That sounds actually, I had no idea that it was about that and that in depth with the old grudges and everything. It actually sounds interesting. I might have to check it out.
yeah, I mean, like, especially if you're a fan of Karate Kid, it's just kind of nice to see those guys, and they do a lot of kind of references to the old movie, and they'll even like show clips from the old movies and stuff like that. And yeah,
Okay.
pretty
Nostalgic.
dope.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, and that's actually a good segue, nostalgia. because we're going to be talking about how we got into video games. What were their early childhood video game memories? So yeah, I guess we'll go with Tyler. How did you get into video gaming?
Well, about, I'm going to say 30 years ago, I was about 4 years. Shut up. I was about 4 years old, probably. No, I don't know how old I was. I have no idea. The earliest childhood memory that I remember when I was a kid, my dad, he had a friend that used to come over once in a while, and they would play Nintendo together, and they would play things like Super Mario Brothers, and then this game called Bubble Bobble. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. I used to watch him. I was just fascinated by it. We used to live in a little trailer house in Ashmont, and he would play these games and stuff, and I was just totally blown away by like how much fun it was. And then once my brothers were old enough, we started playing too, and I got into caveman games on Nintendo. That game, man, we spent so much time playing that. And like that's my earliest childhood memory, is playing that, and spent time with Dad too. He played it. My mom played it too, because we got Dr. Mario for that too, which is kind of like a Mario version of Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
So you get different colored pills, and you got to set them up properly and whatever. And yeah, so that's probably my earliest childhood memory. But then after that, it just kind of got it spiraled out of control. After that, I was pretty obsessed with it. Wasn't playing outside anymore with my friends and stuff. I remember my nana, well, I guess my grandmother on my mom's side, she was a huge video game nerd. I'll call her that. That's because that's a pretty realistic statement. She had a Super Nintendo, and I'd been so used to just regular Nintendo for so long. She had a Super Nintendo, and I'm like, man, what is this? The graphics were just like incredible. Donkey Kong, like, oh my god, it just blew me away. It's like 3D and all this stuff too, and like just had so much cooler games on there. And like Mario Kart, and like, oh geez, I don't even know. I can't even think, because there's just so much. And I remember we used to play, like, every Christmas we'd go visit them. They lived about 8 or 9 hours away from us, and every Christmas we'd go up and see them. It's like an 8-hour drive up in Fort St. John, and we get there, and Nana had up the little PlayStation, or the little play area set up for us when we wanted to game, and she'd have her cigarettes, and she'd sit there with us and play with us. And and when my brothers and I, we would play Donkey Kong Country, and we'd get stuck, we'd be running out of lives, and we couldn't beat this one level. We would pause it, and then I'd go ask Nana, like, Nana, can you help us beat this level? She'd say, yeah, I got some time. So she'd go, and she'd sit down, and she just freaking ace this level, like, no problem. She's like, oh, and there's a secret here. You can get some bonus Donkey Kong coins here, and you can, with the kart racing. And we're just like, oh, like, she's like a goddess. It is incredible. This is amazing. And then she got
smoking.
Just sitting there, cigarette hanging out around, just giving her. Then she had a Game Boy, and she let us play that. And then I went through all those stages, the Game Boys. Then when Nintendo 64 came out, that was awesome. Played GoldenEye, that was a game changer. That's when I knew there's no going back from video games after that. That just changed my whole life, man. That was incredible. And you think about it now, like, you look back, and it's just like, man, how could you even see what you were doing with those atrocious graphics? Just garbage graphics.
Especially thinking of playing like GoldenEye, like a first-person shooter, and it's only one analog stick, and you're using the buttons to look around. It's like, man,
but you made it work. Like, you just and it was like game-changing stuff too. It's just, you think about it now, like, it's crazy. The music was awesome. The multiplayer was awesome. It was just such an amazing game. And then just trying to think of what was after that. I guess Sega Genesis, my dad's friend had brought over, and we played the Simpsons game. I don't know if you guys ever played the Simpsons, where he plays Bart, and you can like be like a superhero, you're flying and stuff, and you're shooting you're fighting against all the characters in the TV show. But the Simpsons games, what's that?
Does it have Aliens 2 in that game as well? Or
yeah, it's got, it's all weird. The Martians or whatever with the tube head. Yeah, they're all in there, and those are the toughest games, were the Simpson games, I swear. I don't know why, but every time it was a Simpsons related game, it was always the most difficult. But yeah, and then
because they're all the time, they're just so short. So it's like, well, how do we make kids play for longer? Just make it super hard.
I guess, that makes sense. Exactly.
So it's too easy to be like $2 or a 2-hour game. You're like, what the fuck? I paid $70 for this.
Right?
Garbage.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
What
Oh,
about
yeah,
you,
great
Eric? How'd you get started
Same
gaming?
thing, pretty much. Relatives, I was like 4 years old, same age. Relatives of ours had a original NES console, and like at the time in the early '90s, the go-to thing was Ninja Turtles at the time, right? So it
Right.
had the original
How could I forget
NES
that?
Ninja Turtles game, and I'm like 4 years old, and I'm seeing them playing that, and it blew my mind. Like, wait, I can play as them? What?
What?
That's awesome. So yeah, and that was like first thing I remember playing is like popping that console, the cartridge into the console and playing as like Leonardo and Donatello and jumping around in that game. That was, as a 4 year old, that was awesome.
Was that the one that like you had to be Donatello because he had the extra reach with
The
his?
the bow staff with the reach, yes, you would sit on top and like pep and hit him down below while they're jumping around. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That's
At
awesome.
the same time, we had that. We also all got a PC on the same time too. I was 93, 94. And I started playing adventure games, like the text-based adventure games, like King's Quest and
Oh
what
wow.
was the other one? Space Quest, like all those games like that. We had to kind of text in what you wanted the character to do,
Right.
and those games were really good too because it was a visual novel pretty much, right? So you go on the adventure and you would find around in King's Quest, you would go the whole area, type in what your character wanted to do, and he would follow. You type your commands, you follow your commands, and it was interesting to figure out and what happened there with that. So that was a lot of fun to play those too. And that was my early uh, access to games. And then I got a Game Boy, and then got Pokemon, and then that was another
Oh,
like a
Pokemon.
whole and a half of playing
Wow.
Pokemon. My God, that was
That
like
was like crack, man.
from like 7 to 12, nothing but Pokemon to play with. That was just
Right?
like, oh
We
yeah,
we were on the same school bus, and that's what everybody was playing. What did you
yeah.
get? I got blue. Oh, I got yellow.
I got red. Yeah, oh yeah,
I got
it
red.
was.
I get
Oh,
Charizard.
my cousin
Bunch
Ryan
of
was next
loot.
door. We would just trade Pokemon all the time with that. It was stupid the amount of time I played Pokemon back then.
Then you take your little cables and you hook them together and you fight each other,
Yeah.
trade stuff. Remember that? We had to use those little mini USB cables
Yep.
to do stuff together.
Right.
LAN
Move back and
party.
forth, and oh yeah, it was. Remember, I gave Ryan my cartridge one time, and he gave it back to me. I'm like, oh, but my Pokedex is full, and fuck, I even have Mew on here. Holy shit, dude! Thanks.
Oh,
Go, yeah, no
Right?
problem. Like, oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Game Shark, no problem with that.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then right when the N64 came out, I would have been in junior high, and everyone was playing that. I figured out at an early age how to download emulators and ROMs. So when everyone was playing N64, I was playing like the old Genesis and NES games, SNES games on my computer back home, right? So I had a whole library off the internet just for whatever the hell I wanted to play back then, right? So
Oh yeah.
I played countless hours. I downloaded the ROM versions of God, Gunstar Heroes for the Genesis, or friggin' what the hell is it? StarCraft for the N64 was on there as well too. I'm like, holy shit! Like, I'm playing all these legal games. Sweet.
We used to do
I'm
that in
breaking the
school
law.
in the computer labs. All
Yep.
the servers were connected. We downloaded well, we had those key code generators, whatever, random generators, so you could put in the code so you can play it. And then every once in a
Mhm.
while, if you logged out, you'd have to make a new install code. And we used to play on the server all the time. And our computer
Mhm.
class teacher didn't even know, or he just didn't care.
We did. Yeah, yeah. I remember it was like you guys class that taught me how to do all that. I'm like, oh, I'm remembering how to do this now.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
Those emulators you talk about, yeah, I remember that. We used to play like Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff on there
Mhm.
too, man. That was good
Yep.
times.
Yeah,
Good
and that
stuff.
was pretty much it. Then I got my own computer and then I got a GameCube, and yeah, from there on it was just kind of go with the flow, whatever was popular at the time, and playing that. And yeah, wasn't a PS2 guy. I didn't have that. No, I just had the purple lunchbox for a few years. Then I got the
Purple
Yeah,
lunchbox with the Lego controller.
damn right.
my
It was a
my
comfy
brother got a
controller.
GameCube.
Yes, and I remember that one game from that I borrowed from Jason was the Metal Gear Solid remake.
Oh yes, yeah,
That
yeah,
was fucking like, that made me realize that games can be like a narrative story. Like that's how good that was. That was awesome to play.
yeah. Because that was Twin Snakes. Because that was a
Yeah.
remaster
Mhm.
of the PlayStation version. It was
Yep.
perfect. It was the same voice character and everything,
Mhm.
but it's just like refined graphics. Well, Resident Evil remake was on there too. That was like
Mhm.
that was terrifying. That game still holds up. I don't care who you are. You play Resident Evil remake, initially released for the GameCube.
I didn't play that
Unbelievable.
one, no. I
Oh
played
yeah,
4. I played the fuck out of 4.
yeah.
Resident
4
Evil
was
4 was amazing. That one it made it more arcadey compared to the usual the the horror kind of it. It was more just run and gun kind of thing. So
It
I
was,
still love the
but
original
but the
4.
thing is, they still retain some form of horror in that game
Mhm.
because you're still like, like, okay, you can aim and you can do stuff, but you're still like, oh my god, what's coming around? There were so many jump scares in that game. They still
Oh,
kept it scary, but everything after that, trash.
Mhm.
Except
Oh,
for
yeah.
7. Except for 7. Very good.
6 too. 6 is kind of.
I've only played
Yes.
5.
Really?
Oh, really?
The
Oh,
one with
that's like
like
one of
where
the
you
worst
play as all
ones.
the characters.
No, 5
Oh.
is the one in
one in
Africa with
Africa.
Chris and
Yeah.
Shiva is her name or
And
something.
yeah, Shiva. Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
me,
right.
me
That's
and
right.
me and my cousin Garrett played like split screen co-op on that and beat the game. That was a lot of fun actually. It was kind of
Mhm.
It is. Yeah. That was pretty
Mhm.
good.
I remember that with 4, you had that arcade mode where it was just like you getting the high score. I
Hmm.
forgot how the mode was called, like horde mode.
Mercenaries or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
You
and
play
play.
mercenaries. You pick your character.
Yeah. What was the one guy with had the big nanobot arm, the big claw arm? It would just fucking destroy. He had the bow. Oh God, Kruger? No,
Yeah, something like
Kaiser?
that.
Something
Yeah,
like
he's the
that. Yeah,
mercenary with the beret. Yeah.
you just you do one attack, you swipe, kill like 4 zombies at once, kill them all at
Yeah,
once. Oh
the
yeah,
guy's a beast.
Kruger, I think got the hack. Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure
and
it was.
then
Yeah.
that was pretty much it. And then I graduated, and yeah, now it's just PC gaming, and yeah.
Now there's too much
there's
to
too
pick
much.
from.
Yeah, exactly.
Choice.
Way too much. Yeah, it's changed so much now. Like it's
And you never
wild.
know what you're getting either. It's like, is this
Mhm.
game gonna work when I buy it?
Right.
The trailers and stuff look good. It's like, oh
Yeah, they don't even sell finished games anymore. It's wild, man.
looking
Oh,
at
another
you,
one too.
Cyberpunk.
Another one too that
Yeah.
that was a big
Sorry,
part of
go
my life too. I'm sure Tyler as well was RTSs. I've
Yeah,
played.
I didn't even get started on that because I know it'd be another 2-hour long podcast if I got started on that. I'm not even going to visit that topic because that's all I do. I
do
still
a separate topic by itself because I can talk about Red Alert 2 and the Command and Conquer series for
please
hours.
don't even bring that into this. Don't. They're remastering it. Did you hear that? They're
No.
remastering Red Alert 2
Fuck yeah!
and Yuri's Revenge. Oh,
Yep,
can't wait.
that's the best one by far. So I can't wait. Yeah, that's good to hear.
I will agree with you 110%. That was
When
definitely the best
last year's E3 they announced that Command and Conquer Rivals. I'm like, oh cool, new Command. Oh, it's mobile.
Yeah,
What the fuck? Yeah, that was a little bit of an insult to us, but yeah.
you get what you get.
That's right.
EA. It's like, yeah. I mean, I'm a little younger than you guys, so
Age, yeah.
a tinge younger. I mean, I do remember going to like my uncle's and playing like original NES and playing Super Mario Bros. And was it like California Games or something like that. But it's like we were so young and like probably like 4 years old at the time. It's just like, why does he keep tripping on his goddamn skateboard? Like I didn't know like, how to actually do it.
I remember playing that game too. There was no like input on what the hell to do. You just kinda
Exactly. It's
go
like,
up and
here
down
go.
the same glass. Yeah.
Like try surfing. You fall. It's like go again. Oh nope.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean my first console that I ever got was I think like Christmas time when I was like 5 years old. I got Game Boy Color with Pikachu edition or whatever. It's like Pokemon Yellow with that. So that was really fun. I was a huge fan of the Pokemon show, and it was like, what? There's a game.
Oh really?
And it was good too.
Exactly. I remember like opening up and playing it, and like just starting off in the room there, and I was like, couldn't figure out how to leave the house. So like, Mom, how do I leave the goddamn house? And then she like finally like lets you out, and they're like, okay, you have to go see Professor Oak at the thing, and you go inside. He's like, well, he's not here. Where is he? They're just like standing around waiting for him to show up. And it's like, well, what the hell? It doesn't tell you have to go and like just run out into the field and like he'll come and stop you or whatever. So it's like took like probably an hour to figure out that you just have to like, I don't know, walk somewhere and he'll come grab you. It's like,
Right.
why don't you tell me this? I'm 5 years old. I don't know anything.
Can't just Google how to do it either.
there's no
Yeah,
walking.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mom's probably like, why didn't you just get asked for Legos? It's like, those come with instructions, damn it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then yeah, like the year after that, I got an N64 for my birthday, and I remember going to the Superstore in Lloydminster to pick that up, and we were getting it, and I totally got the surprise ruined for me because they're like, you get to pick a game to go with it or whatever as a bundle is. So it was like either Banjo Kazooie or Ocarina of Time, and like, so my dad's like, okay, well, which one do you want? And I'm like, I don't know what any of these games are, so I'm like, that game has a sword on it, so I'll pick that one. And so it's like, cool, I lucked out into picking like one of the greatest games of all time, just because it has a sword on the cover. I mean, like, Banjo Kazooie's alright, but like, it's no Ocarina of Time at all. And it was actually funny, like, I remember opening that up on my birthday, getting it out, and plug it all in, and then boot it up, and like, the save file was, the first one was taken, it said Brian, and I was like, wait, what? And then it's like, my mom's like, yeah, your dad opened it up to make sure it worked, or whatever. And he's like, he kept getting ran over by a boulder, so he quit. I was like, okay. And then I actually like never beat that game when I was a kid because I was like so scared of like when it turned to night, all the stupid skeletons would come out, or like the part where you have to go to the graveyard and there's all those like undead zombies. I'm like, it's like, no, I'll just walk around inside Kokiri Forest the whole time. So like, my older sister ended up being the one who played the game, and I was like the one who would figure out the puzzles a lot of the time. So I was like, okay, you play, but if you get stuck on a puzzle, I'll probably be able to figure it out. Right. Just because I was too big of a wuss to play it myself.
That's funny that you say that, because when I played Resident Evil, when we got our first PlayStation, the four of us would actually play. So I would fight the zombies and have no problem with that, but I was so lost everywhere I went. It was like a maze. So Jason would be like, nope, you got to get the key. It's at this other door. You haven't been through here yet. And then Kirk would or Zach, whoever, would help me solve the puzzles, because I can't do puzzles. I get lost, but I can do the fighting part, like no problem. And inventory management, whatever, that's fine. But everything else, oh yeah. That's funny that you say that with your sister. That's because that's how it was with us too.
Right. I remember like we also had like a friend around the block who also had the game, and it was just like one summer where we were both playing it. We never, both of us like haven't beaten it, and we're just kind of like going alongside, and we like meet to hang out, and we talk about how to like progress. It's like, oh, did you figure out this part? And then they like, oh yeah, I figured it out, and you like go like that. And then I remember like getting up to the final boss, Ganondorf, and we like couldn't figure out like, how do you beat him? Like, we didn't understand that you had to hit the little charge balls back with the Master Sword. So like we kept trying for like days and days and days, and like finally we get a call from my friend on the phone. He's like, yeah, you gotta hit this, use the sword to hit the balls back. And we're like, whoa, and we ended up beating it, and it was just like, it's like kind of an interesting thing that's like, that doesn't happen these days. These days it's just like, hey, just go look on the walkthrough on YouTube or IGN or whatever.
Exactly. I remember
big glowing orb in the game is, I'll press this button now kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of the website GameWinners.com?
Oh yeah.
That was my go-to for the Resident Evils, man. Yeah, before YouTube and everything else.
Game Winners, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
They have cheats too on there and stuff.
Yeah, go to the library when I played Twisted Metal and I wanted to win because I was kind of shitty at it. So I download the cheat codes for that, and I would just like memorize it, sit in my bedroom and just read it, and then go play, and then just like, how come you know all these specials for each character? I'm like, oh, I'm just better than you. Totally fucking cheating, knowing all the combos and stuff.
I think I still have the original copy for my Smash Bros. Melee in the cartridge still, like in the box still for the game with the sheets of the Game Winners codes on there, how to unlock the characters.
Oh man, my toy box at home, my whole bottom drawer was all sheets of paper I printed at the library with all fucking game downloads, cheat codes and stuff.
Yeah.
That just kind of reminded me of like cheat codes, and that kind of reminded me of like glitches and stuff like that. And I remember, growing up, I was a big wrestling fan, and we had the PlayStation game, the SmackDown games. And the one that we played a lot was SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, like me and all my friends or whatever. And like, we must have been like, I think this would have been like, we're 10, 11, 12 years old around there when those games were out. And I remember going over a friend's house and they're like, we found out this crazy glitch. It's like, if you play as like a girl, like there's bra and panties match, which doesn't exist these days, but the object was like to like take the clothes off of the other person to win. But like they figured out this glitch that is like, if you give the lady the Rock's People's Elbow finisher, she just like takes off her shirt and her pants and throws it in the crowd anyway, because the Rock's supposed to take off his elbow pads, but the game's like, well, this person doesn't have elbow pads, so it just like defaults to the other thing that's supposed to be able to come off, which is their clothes. So that so we're like, a bunch of like horny like preteen boys were like, all right, give her like all max specials. It's like, all right, she throws off the shirt. It's like, all right, do enough to the shirt. Throws off the pants. It's like, oh my god, do it again. Let's see what happens. And the game just like, she goes into the animation. Just like all of a sudden the game just freezes and we're like, no.
Jesus.
All right.
I can see it. I can imagine. Greasy little kids huddled around. Boobies. Show the boobies.
That was a weird like thing, because that was like always happened at my like friend's house, and like there would be like they had downstairs area, which is where we hung out, and they had a computer with internet access like in the door next to them, and like we would look up porn on that computer and stuff, and it was so fucking weird looking back at it now, because like their mom would sometimes come down and like, what are you doing? Like, we're gonna quickly try and hide it and stuff like that, but like sometimes we'd be like, he's trying to look at porn, and she's like, what? It's like, well, at least pull up some hot firefighters or something like that. And she like, make us pull up like firefighters and stuff. It's like, what is going on? This is so fucking weird.
I don't even want to get into this topic. I can't even about you being weird.
Yeah.
Man, that's a whole nother thing. Why do boys do that? Like, man, okay, I'm going to tell one story here real quick. If you guys have time.
Oh, yeah, we got nothing but time.
So, a friend of mine at the time, he was like, oh, why don't you come over? We'll have some beers, blah, blah, blah. We're like 16, I guess. So I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. So I rip out there. And I walk in the house, and I'm like, hey, where's I don't want to name names.
Yeah, better not know.
Where's George? Oh, he's downstairs. The mom's sitting upstairs, whatever. She's sitting there eating with her husband. I'm like, okay. So I walk downstairs, and it's pitch black. All I hear is this moaning. I'm like, what the fuck is going on down here? I open up the door and I walk down there, and all 5 of the boys, like all the brothers, are down there. They all got blankets on, and they're watching this porn. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I didn't really watch too much of it at the time. And I'm like, oh, hey, Skinny, go grab a beer. I'm like, is this what we're doing? I'm like, okay. And then the awkward thing is like, oh, I gotta go to the washroom. Like, oh, yeah, sure you do. Okay, I'm stopping there because
this could be like a whole future topic.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, it totally can be. Like, boys are just so weird, man. So creepy.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say like, oh, gross. I can't. I'm like, yeah, I can't say shit. Oh my god.
But yeah, I guess after I got N64, I got a PlayStation 2.
Back on topic now.
Go.
Yeah, PlayStation 2, that's a good console. I had Jack and Daxter was my first game on that, and got plenty of games. And as I got older, then I got the PS3, and then stuck with PlayStation ever since for that. So yeah, I was kind of that. I mean, was there any kind of like your favorite games growing up or anything like that?
Well, for me, yeah, like Eric said, like with strategy games, Command & Conquer was my favorite franchise from start to finish, and that was all on PC. So I usually had to wait until we got to go spend the weekends at my grandparents' house because they always had the best. Now this is a different set of grandparents. This is on my dad's side. They had the really like high spec computer, but all they played was Hoyle Casino on there. Literally had this awesome computer, and all they played was fucking poker and slot machines, and sat there and just chain smoked and played these games. So then they let us play, and we got to play all the best, newest games on there. So it was always Red Alert 2, Command & Conquer, Tiberium Sun, Tiberium Wars, and Red Alert 3 was okay. Generals was really good too, and those are my favorite. And the Resident Evil franchise
Mhm.
until after 5, it was no good. But yeah, those are probably my
But you
favorite.
said
And
7's good.
7 is good. Okay,
So there's only one bad game. 6.
contradicting myself. Contradicting. Okay,
Well,
yeah,
I guess there was that Operation Raccoon City thing that was kind of garbage.
that was terrible. And then Dead Aim, they did like this little where you get the little gun controller. And you
Oh
could,
yeah,
I
for
had
the
that one for the
Wii.
Wii. Yeah.
on the shit. That was I don't know. It was kind of hokey, weird,
Yeah,
and just wasn't scary at
I
all.
think I got suckered into buying that too.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason why I bought the gun was because I actually wanted to play that game. And I guess I love Code Veronica too. Actually, first time I saw that was on Dreamcast. One of my friends, actually Keith, had that one. That was really cool. Resident Evil, Metal Gear, I was very passionate about. That's why I love PlayStation 2. Metal Gear, Sons of Liberty, and Snake Eater, some of the best games.
Yeah, PS2 had a good library for that. There was good games on that one.
So yeah, those are my favorites.
What about you, Eric? Some of your favorites growing up?
That's too many to pick. If I had to say one for sure, it'd be like Riddler Alert 2 for sure.
Oh yeah,
that one. I can't even count how many hours on that one. That one and the original StarCraft.
Yeah, that's another great one.
Escape, A Secret on Monkey Island, like some story games there. Yeah, about it.
Yeah.
Just I can't even say anymore. Like, what else would say as a favorite game? Like all of them, pretty much.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess at that point you weren't getting games all the time either, so it was like, for me, I mean, like Ocarina of Time and Pokemon Yellow were like my jams for. I don't know how many times I've replayed Pokemon Yellow, like when I was younger.
Same.
Right. What were some like the games that like the crap games you bought when you were younger? Because I remember like having the N64 and just like you don't know what games are. You go to like the shelf and you see something sitting there. Like I was a big Power Rangers fan, so I bought like Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue for the N64. It's like that's not a good game at all. It's like there's plenty of other N64 classics that I didn't own that I probably should have bought, like Mario 64. It's like that's kind of a shame. Like you go to somebody's like, man, don't you love Mario 64? It's like, nah, I bought Power Rangers.
Right.
I don't really have a crap. I know I bought X-Wing versus TIE Fighter years ago, and I bought it hoping to play it. I never could get it to work on my computer, and I was like, I bought it like for full retail, I think like $50 back then.
Yeah.
Never got it to work, and I'm like, fuck, that was such a waste of money. And that one's hurt me quite a bit. I have it now. I played it a little bit here, but back then, back in the 90s, it couldn't get to work. It sucked.
Yeah.
It paid full price for that game.
The one that I got, I don't know, you probably know this one, Eric, when we were in school. I actually found this game at Liquidation World. It was called Shogo. And I kind of showed you, Scott, there on YouTube, I think, a little bit on what it was like. I think.
That game for $2.
It was like literally $4 on the shelf. I'm like, oh, it looks kind of like anime. I'm not a big anime guy. Whatever, I'll try it out. I'm like, man, but the game was so buggy and glitched the fuck out. But it was actually like a pretty good game, but it was like, like you would just get one-shotted randomly.
Oh yeah, you showed me the YouTube video of this. Yeah, I know what you're.
Yeah, and like the graphics were like really weird, but the voice acting was surprisingly pretty good, and there was like so many jokes, and like it was just a weird game, and it turned out to be like kind of like a diamond in the rough again.
Oh yeah,
like for $4 or $5.
It definitely looked like something like they bit off more than they can chew, like trying to make that game sort of.
Yeah, definitely a very, what do you call it? Ambitious game for sure. Extremely ambitious.
Like if that would have came out like on PS2 or GameCube or something, it's like it would have probably been a lot better or something. But
right, exactly. And they could have patched it and spent more time on it. I don't know. It just seemed really rushed, but they had a really, really good story idea. But yeah, that was
a lot of hours in that game too. That was a really fun one like that.
And if you didn't save it, man, and you had to go all the way back, holy man, what a pain in the ass. But it was good enough that you actually didn't mind when it happened once in a while. So yeah, I'm trying to think of ones that I bought that were just absolute garbage. I'm just trying to think. I can't think of anything that was really terrible.
Garbage. I mean, usually those memories kind of go out to the back because you want to forget them right away, I guess. But
you do, exactly. You're just like, oh well, that sucks. I saved my allowance for this, and then you move on to the next one. Then you get another good one like Dino Crisis or something. Oh, those games are good.
Yeah, I
No, I
mean,
like with the N64 and those other consoles, there was a lot more like hit and misses in those. But
yeah,
I had a PC
Right.
growing up, so it was pretty much
Yeah.
it was either going to work or not going to work. That's pretty much
Right.
it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think my problem was like was always really into like certain things at certain times, so I was like constantly getting suckered into like the licensed games and stuff like that. It's like, oh man, I loved Monsters Inc. the movie, so let's get Monsters Inc. for Game Boy
Oh,
Color,
it's fun.
which
Yeah.
isn't a bad game, but like it's like again, it's like why would you get that? You should get something
Mhm.
better.
Right.
Um,
Or
and
the
yeah,
games you get on cereal boxes.
Mhm.
right, yeah.
We used to get those and be all excited and like, man, these are awful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like similar thing. I think it was like Liquidation World or something like Bargain Bin. Like I found the Half-Life anthology, the first one for PC, and I just had a hand-me-down computer in my room,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, I think my crap computer can run this because this game's super old. So
Right.
I go like to install it, and I think this one is, I don't know. Steam was a thing at this point because the thing was like I went to install it and it's like, now log into Steam to register the Steam key for this game, and then you can download it. And it's like, well, I don't have internet on this computer. It's
Right.
like, okay, I guess
Because
can't play
that.
this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. I had to do the same thing with Half-Life 2. We didn't really have internet. And I had my laptop I was going to play on it. I'm like, well, that was a waste of money for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like other N64 games because like I didn't have many. It was just like basically we had Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, got Majora's Mask, and Mario Kart was like the other big thing we played all the time. Um,
Mhm.
which was a lot of fun. We still play up until we had the Nintendo Switch. If all of us were home, we would boot up the N64 and still play Mario Kart 64.
Mhm.
Right.
So play
Yeah.
versus, and we only had two controllers, so we just have to switch off.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when we got 4 controllers for our PlayStation, we had Crash Team Racing. That was so much fun.
Mhm.
A good one. I actually have the remastered version downloaded right now on the
Oh yeah,
PlayStation.
forgot that came out. That's actually an interesting thing. If you can have any game be remastered, what would you want it to be?
Oh man, well, they did Resident Evil 2. I was really excited about that. I spent a lot of time playing that one. But one game that I could have remastered.
They kind of do them all already. That's kind of the problem, Zach. Any game that's kind of been worth remastering, they've kind of done. I would like to see them do like they did the Ocarina of Time for 3DS. It's like
Mhm.
I'd be nice for them to just like, all right, just polish it up and put it out on the Switch. Like it probably shouldn't be that hard to do that. I would think,
Yeah.
I don't think so. No.
Hmm. Yeah, I really don't know. I was gonna say we could do a redo of Red Alert 2, but apparently they're doing a remaster of that
Yeah.
one. But
Too. They did.
I don't know. I would have to say probably well the one game that I spent a lot of time playing would have to be the very first Metal Gear on PlayStation. But they
mm,
kind of did on the GameCube. They made it,
But that
you
could be
know,
redone again though. That should be
they
new. Like
could.
they
They
could.
should. If
Yeah.
they had like Phantom Pain
Mhm.
style graphics,
oh
they
yeah,
just do that. Just implement a story into that and just kind of remake it that way. That would be that's
That'd be good.
probably the best. That and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater redone. Snake Eater I think would be
yeah,
good.
that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Be pretty much like Phantom Pain almost, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
See, I
Phantom
never
Pain.
played the new squadrons yet, the X-wing squadrons. I'm wondering how that is because I was thinking of my Tie Fighter game too as well, X-wing and Tie Fighter. But now with that squadrons, if that's like that, that could be
Yeah,
comparison to see with that. So
Yeah, I want to
right.
give that a shot. It
Mhm.
was on sale on the winter sale, but
Mhm.
didn't pick it up.
Hopefully that'll go free like Battlefront 2 or something like that. Play that. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if the controls would be like that because I know in Battlefront 2, when you're playing, you can get an X-wing or a Tie Fighter or those
Yeah,
little
but it's
Corsairs
pretty
or
much
something.
just like stationary controls. You can't control your shields. You can't control your blaster rate or nothing like your fire rate, nothing like that. No.
In Battlefront 2, you can. You've got your 3 abilities for each weapon that you have or each vehicle that you're operating.
Mhm.
So like even like the different droids, the different armies and different factions all have different abilities. Actually, I can't recommend Battlefront 2 online enough. It's so much fun. But yeah, like when you're playing in the X-Wing, you can do like overcharged blasters. So like when you hit E, now your quad guns just go like ape shit. Just like, and you can just like for a short period of time, and then you got like torpedo launchers, and then your droid repair. So you hit Q, and then your R2 whatever repairs your X-Wing if you're getting shot at and stuff. So I don't know.
Are they
So
still doing the loot box stuff in the game too, or?
Yeah, they do. Yep.
Yeah.
It's not very often, but you level up so quickly and you unlock different abilities, and all the skins are pretty much already unlocked. So you just pick what you're feeling at the time, and there is still a lot of stuff that you can unlock with milestones. But
yeah, I think all the loot box stuff in that is just cosmetic now instead of getting here. Yeah,
yeah.
Where the It's a shame because that game, like, a lot of people are like, this game's fun, but the microtransactions are abysmal, and
that's why I stay away from it till when it first came out, because I don't want to deal with the microtransaction shit.
Yeah. Give you 25% of the game, then the rest you have to buy one piece at a time.
Right.
Brutal.
Well, there you go. I think that's gonna do it. Well, actually, one more thing. I just thought of one game that I want to get remastered, and that is Ultimate Spider-Man, which was on the PS2, which up until these PS4 Spider-Man games was the best Spider-Man game of all time. Because it had did you guys ever play Spider-Man 2 for PS2?
No, is that what's the one that came out for GameCube?
Yeah, I think
it would have been probably the same one. I think.
Yeah,
same one. My brother played the shit out of that game, and I watched him play it because it was very good.
Because everybody was like, that was the pinnacle. Everybody would say Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man game because they nailed the swinging. Well, the thing is, Ultimate Spider-Man has the exact same swinging, except for they did like a cel-shaded comic book style art, and it followed the Ultimate Spider-Man comic books to like a T, and like it would just go through the storylines of that. So like the story was actually like really awesome, and you also got to play as, it was like a dual protagonist thing where it would be like, okay, you played Spider-Man for a few missions, and then it'd be like, okay, now you cut to being Venom for a couple missions. And he would have like totally different movement. Like, so instead of jumping, like instead of hitting the swing button, he would do like this big like Hulk jump, right? Like big long locomotive jump, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And he just like felt like a tank, and you'd come down, and you'd crash into shit, and like you'd like go up to random pedestrians if you're getting like low on health, and you'd like consume them essentially to get health back and stuff like that. I was like, oh man, so cool.
Awesome. Bite their heads off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh man, you just feel like evil badass. So that was awesome.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this week. We're under an hour. We're at 53 minutes. We did it. We didn't go too long. Yep. Hopefully our our average amount like views go up or whatever.
If you made it this far, listeners, congratulations. Thank you.
If you made it this far, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel or liking the podcast on Google Podcasts and Spotify. Eventually, it is going to be coming out to Apple. It's taking forever. Hopefully, that won't take too much longer. And then, I think we wanted to. I kind of want to announce what our topic's going to be next week, and we can actually get people to write into the show and kind of give their answers. And I think next week, if you guys are down with it, I was thinking, what do you want to do when COVID is over? It's a thing of the past. What do you want to do? So if you want to write in, you can email us at esteemedgentlemanpodcast@gmail.com, or you can always comment on our Facebook. I'll put up a little post there on there so you can comment on that. But that'll do it for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. See ya.